Hi everyone, Matthew Donovan here. I want to keep this video short, but this is the June update for my 2018 resolutions. I just did the 2018 update for May, and as well, we're in the middle of heat warning. It's incredibly warm outside, so that's why I've got all the blinds closed here, just trying to keep it as cool as I possibly can inside. But what happened in June? So I guess first on the list is languages, and right at the start of the month, I had I booked a lesson in Italian on Italki with a gentleman from Rome, I believe. No, not Rome. Milan. Maybe Milan. I'm not quite sure. Somewhere up north, I could look. Maybe Milan. Um, Somewhere over there. But anyways, the whole point of that is I didn't like that lesson. It was very focused on grammar. I think we spent maybe 20 minutes out of the hour discussing the differences between bene and buona and buono and bello. And yes, it was valuable, and I think I've learned something now. And I mean, at this point, I don't know if I remember all that we discussed. It was about a month ago, but I do remember some of the differences between bella, bello, bueno, buena, bene, all these differences. But that's not what I wanted to focus on, right? What I wanted to focus on was talking with the vocabulary I did have, with the knowledge I did have, and I wasn't quite able to do that because he kept jumping in and trying to correct me whenever I made a grammar mistake or I'd use the wrong, bello instead of bueno or buena, that type of thing. But it was still a good lesson, wanting to get my feet wet in the Italian language, and I can speak a little bit with my family and that type of thing, but really trying to understand, okay, how does the language work? What are the key words? What are the key verbs? What are the differences? What are the similarities between French and Spanish? Um, so it is just a matter of spending the time. Now, Italian is on Link. There's a lot of Italian resources on Link. One in particular are the mini stories. So I have the mini stories 1 to 20. I've put them on my phone, so I'm able to listen to those just as quick podcasts when I'm driving, when I'm walking around, any of these types of things. It's very easy, very straightforward to do. But I also do need to go on my computer or on my phone, but I do need to read through the text of the lessons. I have the first 5 or so lessons that I can understand what's going on, but after that, I haven't taken a look at them from the text point of view. So I'm listening to things, and I sort of know how the stories are supposed to go. I know what the main topics are in the stories, but I don't necessarily know exactly what the words are, how they map up. So I do need to do a little bit more progress on that front. But I have all that. There's 20 beginner stories as well. There's 40 other stories. There's a total of 60 stories. And even in Spanish, which is what the most recent language I had studied, I got to the end of all 20 of the first 20. There's like beginner, intermediate, and more advanced stories focusing on different styles of grammar and that type of thing. But I only got to 20. So I really am hoping that with these Italian stories, I can get to 60. Um, Previous languages that I learned, I was focused the wrong way, I think, on the stories. I was trying to memorize or understand every word, all the grammar patterns. But I think what's important is just get a basic understanding, 70, 60, 70, 80% understanding of what's going on, and then keep moving on, right? Focus on different stories at the same time and just work through. And that's what I'm hoping I can do with Italian is get all 60 stories read through, listen to 4, 5, 6 times, become familiar with them, pick up the vocabulary, understand what's going on, learn those verbs, learn the sentence structure. I'm really hoping that will be valuable progress. It's not something I've done too much right now. As I said, I have the first 20 stories on my phone, and I've listened to those first 5, maybe 10 or so times. So what's that, maybe 3 hours total worth of listening over the past month on those stories, but I do need to spend more time reading, more time listening, more time immersed and focused on the language. But it's a matter of trying to fit everything in. Reading is the same update as in May. I didn't do any reading during the month of June, and also on the exercise front, I actually stepped back, didn't do any swimming at all in between my labs, focused on marking and group projects and meetings and all these types of things in between my labs, so I wasn't able to do any more swimming, but that is still on the forefront, and maybe I'll look. Part of the reason I do these videos is to stay motivated and stay up to date, so maybe I'll do another look at when the schedule is, maybe try and fit a time in, not in between my labs, but maybe say a Monday or a Wednesday, right after class, maybe go swimming or do something like that if time permits. But reading and exercise, not as much progress as I would like, about the same level of progress as I typically make, almost no reading and very little exercise. But on the co-op side, I did, during the month of June, spend a lot more time doing part-time work for Sun Life. May was a little bit less as I tried to get a handle on what was everything going to look like from the academic point of view. Is about the third week of May when I started to go in regularly on Thursday afternoons, and during the month of June, I try to go in Thursday afternoons. If that doesn't work, I go in on the Tuesday. But June was much more regular in terms of going into the office, getting things done. Obviously, a couple weeks I have a lot of midterms. I pulled back, didn't go into the office, but still a lot going on terms of working for Sun Life, in terms of co-op involvement. This is really where the biggest, I think, time commitment is coming for me, a balance between staying focused on my academics and working on that, but also everything else that I'm involved with. I went home twice during the month of June just for functions that were happening at my high school that I always go back to and try and take part in some of these things. So that was 2 weekends. I would just drive home on the Friday and either come back Friday night after the function or come home early on Saturday, primarily because I also had other events going on at Laurier. So one of those weekends we had a case practice for Budapest on Saturday, so I had to come home back to Waterloo to focus on that. Another weekend, I had a retreat for, I'm helping out in October. Laurier is hosting the first Lazaridis International Case Competition, or Lazaridis International Case Conference. I should look at which one it is. It's the just wait for the website to load. It is the Lazaridis International Case Competition. So that's taking place in October, right during the time after Thanksgiving. So during our reading week is when this is taking place. Right now we have 9 teams taking part worldwide. So some teams from Canada, Mexico, the United States, a couple teams from Asia, I think a European team. I'm not quite sure where all the teams are from, but we have 9 teams in total taking place. So I'm helping out along with one other student, writing the cases. So there'll be 2 cases, a 5-hour case and a 24-hour case at our competition. So I'll be writing or helping to write both of those. So I've been working a lot with that. But there's about 30 of us in total, 20 or 30 of us in total, when you think of all the organizers, the people planning the events, the marketing people, our ambassadors who will be each assigned to a university and focused on making sure the stay of both the 4 competitors as well as the faculty member are as enjoyable as possible. So all that combined, there's about 30 of us. So we had a conference or a retreat about 3 weeks ago, second week of June. So I had to be back for that just to get to know everyone. A lot of these people had been hired at varying stages. Some I knew just through involvements with other things, TAing or other things in the school, but some people I'd never met before. So it was a great opportunity to meet them, but a busy weekend among everything else that I've been doing. So that was a big thing that happened in June, was the Lazaridis International Case Conference. Oh, it's telling me 2 different things. So I think it's the conference. We'll have to finalize that, get that confirmed. But regardless, that was a big thing that happened during the month of June. As well, I heard back from the emergency response team, so I'll be going back as the promotions executive for a second year, focusing on trying to increase awareness. One of the big things we'll be working on this year is potentially a website, getting a website up and running for the emergency response team, just to showcase who we are, what we do, and really raise awareness. I haven't finalized the details of that, but I'm really excited for that potential opportunity. But other than that, TAing as well was super busy with the midterm, a lot of midterm marking, and as well, I have 50 cases right here sitting on my floor that the students have handed in that need to be marked within the next couple of weeks. So it's been busy with everything on that front. In terms of school itself, I had 3 or 4 midterms during the month of June. Everything's going well so far. As well, we had to go in to Toronto for this consulting course that I'm taking. So I was into Toronto twice to meet with the people. Just last week we were in as well, so that probably takes the better part of a day. It's about 2 hours to drive in, 2 hours to drive back, plus the meeting itself. So it's a better part of a day to go into Toronto. But again, I'm really enjoying that. enjoying the course. Lots of great learning and knowledge and hands-on experience that I've been able to gain, but it is a more demanding course compared to everything else that I'm taking. But with that, I did want to keep this video a little bit shorter, but June as well has been busy. There'll be big news coming out later this week, so stay tuned for that on a more personal note from me. But that's the update. Good progress so far, all throughout the year, but especially during this semester. So I'll be interested to see what July brings with it. I do want to sit down, and right now I'm going to do that, spend a bit of time on the reading and exercise front to try and get some more concrete plans figured out for that. But other than that, I'm going to keep doing what I've been doing. Things have been good so far. For those of you watching, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon. Bye.